What is going on, YouTube? Reidboyy on Twitch here. We are back. The Season 3.5 Reloaded update just hit, and the meta has shifted finally after 6 long months of only using the Ram. If you wanted to use the best gun in the game, it's finally toast, dead, buried, 6 feet under, not the meta anymore. They absolutely slammed it. We could finally stop using it and move on and explore some of the other 77 guns in the game. With the new meta comes a new top 5 long-range loadouts option for you to use. I already recorded, it might already be uploaded, the top 5 close range options. If you guys want to check that video out as well, the top 5 close range SMG guns. Hint, hint, the top 3 aren't even SMGs. If you guys haven't seen that yet, make sure you check it out. Don't forget to, while you're here, by the way, like the video, subscribe if you're not already, for insane gameplays and top tier tips and class setup content all the time. Anyways, let's get into the top 5. Coming in at number 5, we have the MTZ-556. Yeah, shout out to you UK guys. The MTZ-556 assault rifle. Honestly, the 3 through 5, 4 and 5 on this list are a little eh. Some of them are more mid. They're not very good especially when you compare them to like number 1 and number 2 on this list. These guns are not anywhere near as good, but still, the MTZ is coming in at number 5. This thing is basically, it's just a different version of the Ram, back from before it got nerfed for the 15th time. This thing feels very similar in how it's used, the iron sight build, the recoil, its effectiveness, how it shoots. Kind of, yeah, again, it feels very similar to the Ram. So we are rocking on this build. I've got the VT7 Spiritfire. You can explore a little bit with the muzzles if you want. Explore with them. I like having a suppressor on my long range gun big time if possible. The Spiritfire again gives you recoil control and damage range on top of being suppressed. That's like the all-in-one combo suppressor right there. So we're rocking that. We're rocking the MTZ Drifter Heavy Long Barrel, recoil control, damage range, a lot of damage range at that. You definitely want that thing to extend the maximum range of this gun by a fatty amount. 50 round drum, as big as it can get. We are rocking the MTZ Marauder stock. That's a good chunk of recoil, gun kick, and recoil control right there, again, to make this thing as stable as possible. And then I am electing for the iron sights build. I feel like it this gun's no long range gun in the game is really useful enough from far enough away to where you need a scope on it at this point. And then some of the guns with more clean iron sights, if you can get away with the iron sights, you can stack another recoil control attachment on. So that's what we're doing with this rear grip, the Bruin TR24 assault grip. More firing aim stability, gun kick control. Again, makes the gun a lot less bouncy. This type of stuff is more so for beaming people off of head glitches. It's a laser beam with the normal build without this on it. This helps you beam people off the headies when the only thing you can see is their head, and you have to be really, really precise with your shots. I would take that off if you absolutely need a sight on your gun, whatever sight you prefer. That is the number 5 gun. Again, the MTZ-556 assault rifle. On to number 4 on our list, the BP50. Now, this thing would be it. This thing would be the gun if it just had a bigger mag or if it just did a little bit more damage. I love the BP50. I like the way it feels. I like the way it recoils. I like the way it shoots. The 45 round mag just holds it back. It's really hard to even get a 2-piece long range with this thing. You have to almost hit every single bullet to get it down and a thirst on the same guy. That's the biggest drawback. This gun either needs a little bit more damage or a bigger mag to be the gun, but still, the BP50 does feel really nice. I like it. I like the iron sights. I like the way this gun feels. We're rocking it with the Bruin Heavy Support Grip, with the VT7 Spiritfire Suppressor, the Lore 9 Heavy Barrel, effective damage range and recoil control. And then we're also rocking the Moat 40 stock on this thing. This thing is giving you recoil control and aimed on sight speed. So it's giving you a little bit of everything. Pretty much no cons on this thing. This thing is just straight dubs around the board. Who cares about your tactical sprint speed and your sprint to fire on your long range gun? That is the BP50 number 4 best long range gun. On to the actual juicy good stuff here. Oh, no, not yet. Top 2 is the good stuff. The SOA Subverter coming in at number 3. This thing hits hard. This thing hits like an absolute truck. Problem is with the way it recoils, especially without the secret no recoil attachment. With this thing's recoil, when it shoots, it goes up left, up right, up left, and that's not good. That's a nightmare for controller players. That is really ugly, trying to control that recoil pattern. It makes the gun feel very, very inconsistent, especially when shooting people from long range. So the build for this thing, you have got to stack as much recoil control, recoil reduction attachment on it as possible. 50 round drum, as big as it can get. The Motion V2 Heavy stock. you know, 10, 12% recoil control. The Bruin heavy support grip, 10, 8% recoil control there. Dozer 90 long barrel, more recoil control, damage range. And then I feel it's necessary. You absolutely have to run the Jack BFB. I know a lot of people don't like this attachment. It slows the gun down significantly, but I just feel like to make this gun be good, you need to just stack as much recoil control as possible. This makes it a much easier gun to use. This absolutely decreases the recoil by a ridiculous amount and makes it way better to me in this thing. Again, it is slower. It is noticeably slower with this setup, but still, I feel like this is necessary to be the best build you can possibly be. I would take off if you need a sight. If you need a sight, I honestly wouldn't use the gun, but if you absolutely need a sight, I would take off the Bruin heavy support. Take off the Bruin heavy support and throw in a sight for it. Would be what I recommend. But that's all right. That's not even the best. If you want the real goods, the real good guns right here, then the top 2 best long range guns in the game, coming in at number 2 right now. Nobody's used this gun at all. Nobody's actually used this gun at all for the entire time Warzone's been out. Just got buffed, a secret buff or something recently. This thing is insane. The DG58 LSW LMG is now absolutely disgusting, and it feels ridiculous to use. And this thing has no recoil and drops. This thing doesn't move at all. This thing is insane, bro. This is the best fully automatic long range gun in the game right now. We are rocking the Cassis brake muzzle on it. Again, that gives you a lot of horizontal recoil control. The Woody long barrel, we're going for as much damage range as possible with this thing. The Jack glassless optic, or whatever sight you prefer. The recoil reduction butt plate. Again, giving you a bunch more recoil control. And then the 5th attachment, you got a couple options. If you feel like the recoil is fine, not a problem at all, you can take off the Bruin heavy support and throw high grain on. You can throw the high grain rounds on for some extra effective damage range and extra bullet velocity. That is definitely not a bad shout if you want to try that. It is a little bit bouncier. Just a little bit bouncier, but it should hit harder from, you know, 15% extra range. But that's really, other than that, you can either run the high grain rounds, or I would just run the Bruin heavy support if you feel like you struggle with the recoil a little bit. This thing is still a straight laser. Really good. That is the number 2 best long range gun in the game. If you want a more simple, easy use, fully automatic gun, this is your guy right here, the DG58 LSW LMG. And then coming in at number 1, the gun that's been the secret meta for 6 months, not 6 months, I'm exaggerating, for 3 months now, and nobody's been using it because most of these streamers don't have a clue what to use unless JGod tells them to use it. The SVA 545, baby. This thing finally is getting some recognition. Other people are finally hopping on the Reidboyy bandwagon and using the gun I've been telling them to use for 3 months straight. The SVA 545 is absolutely insane. If you know this one simple trick to get rid of all recoil on the gun. The build that we are rocking, stacking as much damage range as you possibly can on this thing. We're rocking the Jack glassless optic, or whatever sight you prefer. The 60 round mag, as big as it can get. The 545 high grain rounds. That recoil control con, don't even worry about that. You want that effective damage range and bullet velocity right there. That 15% it goes crazy. The STV precision barrel, again, more effective damage range, bullet velocity. You want a lot of, as much of that as you can get. We're throwing the sonic suppressor on instead of the VT7 Spiritfire 558% damage range, bullet velocity. Sonic suppressor 13%. So you're getting 5% extra bullet velocity at the con of some recoil control. You're thinking, Reidboyy, why would you want that? Why would you want the recoil control in the red? That's not good. Your long range gun is supposed to be green in the recoil control. That's why we run the Spiritfire. With this gun, what you want to do with the SVA, if you don't know about this trick yet, you pick it up, and with the first thing you want to do with this gun, don't do this. Don't just go and shoot the gun. That ain't good. That ain't good. You don't want that. Reidboyy, what's the Cronus script, man? What's the Cronus script? What's the vibes? How do we do it? What you want to do, pick up the gun, left on the D-pad, right there. Switch the gun to semi-auto. Whatever that button is in the bottom right if you play on mouse and keyboard. Switch the gun to semi-auto. You don't even have to touch the thumbstick. You can shoot it pretty much just as fast as semi-auto. Gun don't move. Gun don't move at all. You can be an absolute laser with this thing. You can tap fire the gun if you're on fully auto. You can also do that. It is possible to still shoot like this, but if you even hold the controller for a fraction of a millisecond longer than you're supposed to, it will make it noticeably bounce up. So I just switched the gun to semi. It's way more consistent, way easier to use. Main thing you're going for there is the consistency. Yeah, that is the #1 best long range gun in the game right now. SVA 545. This thing drops people ridiculously fast. We're finally starting to see all the other streamers and the competitive players, the ranked play players, hop on this bandwagon right here of the SVA 545 that I've been telling them to use for a long time. So again, as always, Reidboyy's never wrong, just early. If you want to stay way a month or two ahead of the meta, make sure that you guys don't forget to subscribe and like the video for the best class setup and tips and tricks and gameplays you can find anywhere on YouTube, especially coming from a console player. Other than that, if you feel like there's a gun I missed or left off the list, be sure to let me know in the comments. Besides that, you guys have a blessed one. We'll see you in the next video.